Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi was Devi Annapurna personified. I am reading out a few excerpts from the book Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, authored by Swami Gambhirananda, which bear testimony to the fact that Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi was Goddess Annapurna personified. At the end of December 1918, the mother sat on the porch near the main entrance of her house, while the monks sat on the veranda of the parlor. In front moved the loads of paddy towards the farmyard of uncles Varada and Kali. The fencing put up by the latter outside his threshing floor had encroached a little on the road, so that the paddy bags coming to Uncle Varada's barn could not pass through easily. This gave rise to an altercation between the two brothers, and a scuffle was about to ensue between the two brothers, when the mother, no longer able to sit indifferently, rushed to the place and, to pacify them, sometimes say to the one, "It's your fault," and sometimes dragged the other by the hand. She was much older than either of the brothers, who had in fact been brought up by her. Hence, they could not ignore their sister altogether. Her intervention stopped them from coming to blows. Nevertheless, she could not stop them from exchanging hot words. She, however, kept standing between them. Just then, the monks came to her rescue, and the brothers walked away, cursing each other. The mother was excited, no doubt, and in a flurry, she returned and sat down on the veranda of her house. And then, in the twinkling of an eye, her anger and agitation were nowhere. On the contrary, the eternal peace behind all clashes of worldly interest on this stage of life's drama revealed itself before her eyes to evoke a hearty laugh. And she said, "What a Maya is this of the Mahamaya! There stretches the infinite earth, and these possessions too will be left behind. Can't man understand this simple fact?" And she burst into a fit of laughter that lasted pretty long. At noon on the last day of the month of Posh, about January 15th, the mother made her sons sit for eating cakes on the veranda of Uncle Prasanna, while she herself sat by them to see that they were properly served. Nearby, the mad aunt and Nalini Devi kept busy arranging things to be sent as gifts on that happy day to the houses of the father-in-law of Radhu and Maku respectively. Now and then they came to the mother to consult her and apprise her of the articles being sent. The gifts were being drawn from her store and at her cost, and yet she did not seem to evince any interest, but in an absent-minded way answered yes or no to their eager questions. This indifference told on the nerves of both the aunt and Nalini Devi. First they mumbled and then began complaining openly. The mother too then said, "See, I have so many sons. When they come, one can serve them with food on hands or on leaves as one wills, and they eat with joy. But should one of theirs come, what a number of cups and dishes one will have to bring out. And if you don't, there will be bitter complaints." When the devotees finished eating, the mother got up and gave victuals to them. But she did not send any presents to her son-in-law's houses, and from her mood it was evident that this decision was deliberate. The astrologer of Vishnupur had prophesied that some successive issues of Maku could not meet each other. Some 7 or 8 days before the birth of her second son, her first son, Nera, died at Joyrambati at 5:30 in the afternoon of April 20, 1919, after suffering from diphtheria for 3 days. The news was carried by Dr. Vaikuntha Maharaj to the Holy Mother at Kualpara. At this, she was beside herself with grief and cried as bitterly as any ordinary woman would. Not much later, the time for offering food to the master approached, and yet the mother remained disconsolate. As a matter of duty, therefore, a devotee reminded her of the master's worship, At once she was a changed person, as though nothing had happened. She offered the food duly. She did not cry for the whole night, though she talked about Nera, and that with the greatest sorrow. To feed and provide amply for the near and dear ones is a normal obligation of every householder, and society makes allowances for it, though to cynics and pessimists such behavior may appear as nothing better than sublimated selfishness. A man established in the knowledge of Brahman is equally cognizant of the illogicality of the situation. But unlike the cynic, he does not utter a single word of condemnation. On the contrary, he sympathizes with the householder in his struggle for the removal of a felt want, and he is ever ready to help him in his effort so far as it lies in his power. Such instances can be found in abundance in the life of the mother. Radhu was then ill at Kualpara. Uncle Kali and Brahmachari Varada were returning from their visit to the Tantrika of Sushnegede, to whom they had gone for getting some occult cure for Radhu. On the way, the uncle said, Narayana Iyengar of Bangalore, who is a disciple of my sister, came here the other day and promised to dig a well on our land in front of sister's house. But now he is quite silent about it. He is a well-to-do man. If he digs the well, it will benefit many. And as for the price of the land, is it so much after all? He can easily spare the money if he has a mind to be able to provide for sisters drinking water. It's no small stroke of good fortune. In other words, the uncle wanted to exploit Sri Iyengar to get a few thousand rupees for a tiny plot of land. The uncle went on, mind you, Varada, if sister saved all the money that she got as gifts, it would come to a good amount. But on the contrary, she spends everything for her brothers and Radhi. She does not amass anything. Well, can you say to whom she gives most? As Varada kept silent, the uncle changed his tone and said, mind you, Varada, sister is honored by people just because she has no passion for money. If she showed any interest in money such as ordinary people show, she would not command so much respect at all. It's just because of this that she is not human but divine. Do you understand, Varada? Ah, you are all blessed. You have given up hearth and home at this early age and are running errands for sister day and night. In the evening, the mother got a full report of the conversation from Varada and said smilingly, Kali is mad after money. Food is a problem that makes fool of a wise man. He seems to consider his sister a money-yielding tree, but he has a little love and regard for me. In stress and strain, it is Kali who stands by his sister. As for the others, the more you give, the merrier they are. Then came the day for the ceremony when Radhu's son would eat rice for the first time, and the mother said to Varada, I have not got much in cash this time. To ask Kali to do the marketing means great expense. You purchase the more costly things after proper inquiry from Anur and Kotulpur. Later I shall get some of the smaller items purchased through Kali. Otherwise he will fly into a rage. The mother then lived with her dependents and women devotees in a separate house. Uncle Kali was a man of grave countenance and as such struck all with awe. Sisters Nalini, Maku and Radhu's mother were all afraid of him. If the mad aunt became too turbulent, one had simply to say, call in Kali for a while, and she would immediately take shelter in her room. The mother knew her brother too well to enrage him. Therefore, on the present occasion, Uncle Kali had the sole responsibility for going to the market for purchases for the birthday celebration of the mother. For some days earlier, he went on inquiring about all kinds of odd things about the mother's household. One day he said, Sister, from the number to which the inmates here in your house have swelled, methinks you can no longer manage with a woman cook. There is need for a male cook. And your birthday is approaching, the gathering will be big and marketing will have to be done on a good scale. Varada is young and can't manage it all. The mother replied, Look here, Kali, I live in this house with a bevy of girls. How can I keep a male cook among them here? As for these boys living with me, you may consider them rather as my daughters than sons. As regards the devotees, They will be there to be sure, and so the purchasing has to be done carefully. In the evening, the mother said, "Look here, the Kotulpur purchases will have to be done through Kali this time. He has been running after that job for some days. If I don't give him a loose rein now and then, he may fly into a rage and create a situation." It should be remarked in passing that at this time, the mother had to depend for some of her cooking on non-Brahmins. The two boys attending on her were not Brahmins. Nonetheless, as the old Brahmin woman engaged in the kitchen was not strong enough for the whole work at night, the two boys had to do much of it except for boiling rice, etc., which they were not permitted to assist in. The mother was afraid lest the villagers should find a loophole here and in collusion with the people elsewhere create trouble for her. She had to be cautious in dealing with them, though as a matter of fact Uncle Kali and Radhu's husband Manmatha had often their night meal at this house. At last Uncle Varada raised the question openly and gave the quietus to it by saying, "As to that, sister, these brahmacharis are your disciples. They are pure and holy. Even rice would be holy if cooked by them. One has a repulsion in eating from any shop in Calcutta. It does not give one any satisfaction." Uncles Varada and Prasanna were somewhat liberal in these matters. Moreover, they were not cliquey. Hence, the mother had not much to fear from them. About Uncle Kali, she had to be circumspect, and the hints he dropped about the kitchen made her wary. Anyway, Uncle Kali made all the purchases for the birthday celebration, the entire management of which rested with him. As a result, he looked happy, and the mother was free from anxiety. But in the afternoon, she was sitting sadly on the veranda. They all had finished taking their food and were taking rest. But the mother had no respite even then. On inquiry, Brahmachari Gopesh, Swami Saradeshananda got the answer from her. "My son, this wretch Kali is a constant source of trouble. He worries me without time and reason. See, for instance, all have eaten, but I am waiting here with his food. He is delaying on one excuse or another, and I too can't take rest." Uncle Kali wanted an absolutely free hand in the day's affair, but somewhere he must have been baffled, and he was now about to teach his sister a lesson. Gopesh understood the situation and hurried to uncle, whom he found busy heaping up hay on his farmyard. Finding his face flushed and eyes red with anger, Gopesh dared not utter a word, but instead tried to help in the work. In a little while, uncle's anger was cooled and he said, "Dear boy, why have you come here to take this trouble?" Gopesh got the opportunity he was seeking, and he explained, "Mother is waiting for you with your food." "I never imagined," pleaded uncle, "that sister was waiting with the food. Let's go." The mother was very glad to get him and sat by him to serve and feed him calmly as though nothing had happened. This is how Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi managed her brother's house, and also all the devotees and the monks who were her disciples, just as Goddess Annapurna protects all her devotees. Annapurne Sadapurne Shankara Prana Vallabhe Jnana Vairagyam Siddhyartam Bhikshang Dehi Cha Parvati. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishnar Panamastu.